morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And for those of you recording, welcome to the gaming group and the overview of 2022 and the thank you to the various people who are on the call and the various members of the gaming group. I'm Clive Oroskin. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the original founders and co-founder of Gaimin, Chief Operations Officer with the finance of the group. It's my privilege this evening to welcome you all on the call. Those of you who are part of the corporate team, those of you who are token holders, those of you who are both. And it's my job this evening to introduce some of the speakers who are going to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing over the last year. It makes me smile watching that video. If 12 months ago you said to me, what's Dota 2, Clive? Or what's Rocket League? Or what's Apex Legends? Or said to me I'd be going to Singapore or going to Stockholm to watch some people play computer games in front of a computer screen, I'd have said I've done many things in my life, but yeah, right, never in a million years. I couldn't even spell Dota 2. Never mind, know what on earth Dota 2 was. I'm probably the only person out of the whole gaming group who've never played a computer game in my life. Never thought I'd be involved in esports. And wow, what a year on esports. Never mind anything else for that matter. But without further ado, let me introduce you to our CEO, one of the original founders, Martin. Many of you know Martin Spate, one of the key leaders, obviously, in everything we've developed within the business and within the group. Martin's going to talk you through what we've done, where we're going, and also thank many of you who are on the call.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be on the call, beginning of the year here. Let me explain quickly what we want to achieve in this call. Some of you will be very familiar because we speak quite a lot about what we're doing, what we've done, where we're heading, the big picture, that type of thing. Maybe others not quite so much. So I think it was just important for us as a team to touch base so that you can see, exactly where we are with the development of things, to make sure that everybody understands what exactly it is that we're trying to achieve, in the order we're trying to achieve it. In fact, we're way beyond trying to achieve it. We're like well down the development of achieving it. And I think it's really good to just sometimes take a step back from the day-to-day, thank everybody who's been involved, everybody who's involved at every single level of gaming, show everybody where we're up to. There's a lot of communications that happen with social media, with some of the groups and things like that, but this just puts everybody on one page. And I wanted to quickly go through the three pieces that make up the gaming group, the gaming business, if you will. Those three pieces are the gaming cloud, the gaming software, and gaming gladiators. And I'm not going to take too long doing this. I will give a quick demo of the software just in case anybody hasn't downloaded and installed it, so you can see what it is. I'll explain the synergy between the three parts and how everything fits together. To do that, I'm going to explain a little bit about how we started and the development. If there are any questions, just for the sake of everybody's time, if everybody could kind of save the questions until later, then we can get through this. After this, I'll hand back over to other members of the team who can answer further specific questions. I'll also talk about what everybody who has tokens, the big question everybody's got about, what are the plans with listing and where are we with listing? That's obviously one of the big pending items. So if you guys will just forgive me for getting straight into things. And like I say, before we start, just a huge Happy New Year to everybody. All of the best to you for 2023. Many, many thanks for all of your support that have taken us to where we are today. Okay, let me get started. There's three pieces to our business, and let me make sure I can show my screen. This is that you're looking at there is Gaming Cloud. Okay, when we first started, we realized in late 2017, early 2018, as we started to look into this, we became aware of something that was happening on a global scale And it was this article that really kind of got us going. The article's still live. This is a live web page, BBC News. It was Microsoft boss Satya Nadella, and he was at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and he made a statement that said that the world needs more computing power, and he talked about the world was running out of computing capacity. They started to talk about things like artificial intelligence, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure that everybody on this call has probably come across ChatGPT in these last few weeks, and everybody can actually see now, this was 2018, nobody really knew the impact or potential impact on a, on a day-to-day basis that things like artificial intelligence could have. Well, now I think most people do. Certainly on this call, I'm sure many people have played with ChatGPT. But when he was talking about this, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, he was stating that the bottleneck in advancement of technologies was the ability to process data and actually be able to implement those technologies. Now, just to give you an idea, if anybody started to use ChatGPT, once you get to about 3 o'clock at my time, European time, you find it's really difficult to connect to it because the demand is there. There's lots of people trying to use it at the same time. And the processing power they have dedicated to it, creates the bottleneck, and you can't use it because there isn't enough resources, right? The current spend, the last one I read not long ago, a few days ago, was $3 million a day in processing power being spent to power GPT. Now, when you consider that we've only just gone over 1 million users on that, or whatever the figure is now, probably 2-3 million users now, and it's only just started, you start to apply this type of technology globally, and you can see that, right, if we're already at a bottleneck now, it's extraordinary just how much of a bottleneck the ability to process data is going to become. Yeah. So how are big companies getting over this? Well, Google have got their Google Cloud, and they're building server farms and data processing centers. They never stop, basically. Amazon have got the same with their AWS. Microsoft have got Azure. These are huge tech companies building big facilities. And we are building gaming cloud. The huge difference between gaming cloud and the other clouds is we're using the GPUs, mainly the GPUs. We're also going to use other parts of the tech from gaming computers, the other computational resources. We're using gamers' computers to power our cloud instead of building huge data processing centers. Now, I found a couple of slides from a presentation we did in the very early days, and it's still very relevant. Why are we using gamers' PCs? Why? And the guy who's largely credited with inventing the GPU, the graphics card, is Jensen Huang, the president and CEO of NVIDIA. And he said that every gamer has a supercomputer in their PC. And when they started to talk about GPUs, they described GPU as it's something that's optimized for taking huge batches of data, performing the same operation over and over again. They can do it concurrently, by the way, not like a CPU, which does it linearly. They actually do the thing running several data processing operations at the same time. And they can do it very quickly, and it makes them perfect for processing data. Now, when we started to look at what we were doing, there was 1.3 billion PC gamers in the world. Okay, that was 2018. Today, the figure's over 1.5 billion. And when you consider that, according to Newzoo, that's where we pull all of our gaming stats from. Anybody's free to check this out themselves. They're the gold standard for data in the gaming industry. Newzoo said there was over 400 million of those PCs, which could be, of those GPUs, which could be considered high-end GPUs. And that means a high-end GPU was $500 or more. So this meant that if we look at another thing that we made in the very early days of a presentation, this meant that the global gaming community possesses the largest supply of unused or underused distributed data processing in the world today. Okay, it's the perfect data processing center. The stat here, in excess of 200 billion, is the 400 million computers that are high-end. $500 plus per GPU is $200 billion worth of data processing power that's sat there dormant 20 plus hours a day. It's decentralized with all of the advantages of decentralization. It's not under any single jurisdiction. It means it creates huge stability, different governments, different laws, different regulations, different power supplies, etc. It's self-propagating. That means that it's growing on its own. It doesn't grow because we say, you know, hey, we need some more GPUs. It grows because the gaming industry is growing, right? It's self-powered, self-maintained, self-upgrading. Everything about this means we have the largest pool in history of data processing center sat there, all connected to the internet with continually higher internet speeds, the perfect data processing center. And we're talking about some of the smartest people in the world saying there isn't enough processing power, and there is a huge amount sat dormant. So we've developed Gaming Cloud. We developed Gaming Cloud powered by gamers' PCs. We take the computational resources, and then we can go and we can sell that. Yeah, we sell it and we give up to 90% of that back to the actual gamer themselves. Okay. Now, so far, Gaming Cloud, we developed a proof of concept Gaming Cloud. We developed with crypto mining, with blockchain calculations, which was an easy thing for us to get started with. We developed a whole series of process using automated decision making and machine learning to pick the most profitable coin to go and mine. We converted that and shared that with the user. More recently, we've just finished testing on rendering. We've just paid out our first commissions to users for rendering. Yeah, and that means we have two very important things now that the Gaming Cloud can be dedicated to. We are at the beginning of some exciting conversations for AI to see exactly how we can implement this with supplying some of the AI services that are being developed right now. So Gaming Cloud is perfectly positioned with a colossal amount of resources that we can use for Gaming Cloud. But in order to do that, we need to be able to get the other part of the equation, which is, we talked about the demand, which is growing. Yeah, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, video rendering, all of those technologies which are developing and need this data processing power. Well, the other side is you need the supply to be able to satisfy the demand and make the profit in the middle. It's a business model pretty much the same as Uber. They just they use an existing resource, which is cars. Airbnb did exactly the same, an existing resource, which was apartments and hotels and things like that. So we're doing exactly the same. But in order to be able to get the gamer on board, we needed to create a piece of technology that would attract the gamer. So we went out to develop the most exciting, most innovative gaming platform built for the future. We're still very early in the adoption of the type of tech that we're implementing, but we developed our gaming platform. I'm going to run you through the software in a minute, and we positioned this to be a piece of software that it's our absolute convincement, 100% belief that every gamer is going to want to have this on their computer. Okay, we built this to be a gaming platform and a Web3, Web 2.5 game launcher, which I'll explain to you in a minute. We built into this everything a gamer could possibly want. We built technologies that enable us to do specific things and bring Web 2 numbers to Web 3 games in the future. So let me quickly run you through exactly what we can do with our software and give you a quick software demo. This is my software now. It's running in the background as I speak. As you can see, I've got my camera on, I'm sharing my screen, and the software runs without any problems. It runs in the background. You can see that I'm actually monetizing in real time here. My software is in the background out monetizing. And I'll run you very quickly through some of the features and benefits here so that people can see exactly, why a gamer would want this. First and most important thing to understand is we take the contribution that my platform, that my computer is making to the Gaming Cloud is being viewed here in real time through the returns that I'm making. Okay. We've built this so that any gaming computer can use it. We have a little slider here, so that if I wanted to actually dedicate less resources, I can, or more resources, depending on whether the computer can, is a more modern gaming computer, maybe I can dedicate more without it interrupting or interfering with my gameplay in any way, or I can slide the slider down and do less if needed. I've got notifications here and a shopping cart. This is a notification. I got that earlier. I got a new referral registered in my network, which was quite timeless. It was how I was doing a presentation, so that was cool. Yeah. So we built our technology we built something very special with our technology. We built an SDK which allows any game developer to be able to bring blockchain functionality and Web3 functionality to Web3 games. We did this through 2 games initially, through Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto as proof of concept. And let me just share something with you here. We actually produced a piece of technology that allows a gamer to own his in-game assets. In-game assets was a $70 billion industry last year. And the in-game asset that we create and we sell on our platform, the swords and shields and helmets and things that we offer in our marketplace, they can actually be used in more than one game. So we became the first company in the world to launch an interoperable cross-game utility NFT. Now, for anybody who maybe is a little confused about exactly what can be achieved through NFTs are way more than just, you know, the Bored Ape clubs that people pay silly money for, right? We've created in-game assets that are stored as NFTs, and through a series of SDKs and APIs, we can deploy them within different games. Yeah. So what we did here in this example, we took a sword that was created for use in Minecraft and we deployed it within GTA. Yeah, within our servers in GTA. We became the first company in the world that could do this. What this did is as a proof of concept, we chose those 2 games, but what this did was demonstrate that we have the tech now to be able to go to Web 2 games, you know, some of the biggest games out there, and offer the developers of those technology to easily implement Web 3 innovation within their game. That means that they can offer interoperable NFTs just the same as we can. It also means they can offer their users full ownership of their assets. So let me go back to the game here. You know, we have our own server here. And again, this is proof of concept. You log into the server here. You can connect the platform using this key. Okay, exactly the same with Grand Theft Auto. And as I said, these are proof of concept. These are just the first 2 games. We can do this with so many games. And because of the way we've developed this, our SDK means that any game developer who's built on Unity or Unreal Engine, which I believe covers almost 80% of the games out there, they can actually use our SDK and go and do the same. Yeah, we offer Fortnite V-Bucks, okay, which is something that was requested by our users. And if I wanted to, I could go and buy some. I could use the balance that's in my account to go and do it. I'll add some to the cart here so that you can see that in action. Yeah. And we do exactly the same for Apex Legends. And this that you can see here, this is a game called The Harvest. The Harvest is a Web3 game. It uses blockchain technology. It won a recent prize for being one of the best new games available. I'm sure Joseph will give more details of the particular prize. And anybody who wants to can register their interest. This is a game that's been heavily backed by a huge blockchain company a huge crypto company called Binance. They've stuck a lot of money into this to make this their flagship Web3 game to be listed. We're speaking with Binance and with the Harvest game to launch this from our platform because we're positioning ourselves to be a game launcher for some of the new games that are being introduced. And this again is our proof of concept. So positioning ourselves as a Web3 game launcher means that we have the potential to become the Steam of the Web3 game world. Now, one interesting thing here, the Harvest will be launched on our platform before it's actually launched on Steam. So that is the credibility that we're being held in right now, the high regard that people in the industry have for exactly what we've achieved. And this is really unique for us to be able to talk about that level of achievement. Yeah, we have a marketplace here. You can see where we offer NFTs. You know, here's some of our latest NFTs that can be worn within the game. Yeah, these are our own gaming merchandise. Let me add one of them to the shopping cart while I'm at it. Okay, and we got hundreds of these. Some of these can be used across games in different. Let me go get that chap as well. Add that to my shopping cart while I'm at it. Yeah, and you can see as I'm adding here, right? You can see what starts to happen. I can go and view my shopping cart here. I can check out if I wanted. Yeah, I can remove items. I can add more items if I choose to. Okay, and all of this happens here. And if I want to go and check out, I just confirm payment and all of that will happen. It will be taken from my balance, which is here. Yeah. I've got a dashboard where I can view all of the transactions that are happening behind the scenes, because we're not yet listed. All of this takes place in a stable coin. I can transfer that stable coin if I want to my wallet address and withdraw it and use it on my crypto.com card, which I got here. Yeah. Or anywhere I choose to want to use it. We recently introduced a collection. This is a collection from our famous Dota 2 team that competed in the World Championships over in Singapore recently. These are gamification type rewards that we offer a user. So you can see here, if I left my platform running in the background for 75 hours, I would have achieved the card with Ace on it, and exactly the same for the rest of the team. I have a built-in blockchain wallet, fully featured crypto wallet. These are all the items that I've purchased. They're my items, okay? The items I purchased no longer belong on another game. They belong to me. And I can deploy these in any game where the game developer chooses to adopt our SDK. Yep, and we configure it and whitelist it accordingly. Because it's mine, I can transfer ownership and send it to somebody if I wish to a friend. And I can also sell it on our marketplace if I wanted to, because they belong to me, okay? Now, it's hard to overestimate the huge importance of this in an industry where last year, in 2021, I don't know the figure for last year, 70 billion was spent on in-game assets and nobody owned any of those assets at the end of it. Yeah, we've given users the ability to buy an asset, own it, sell it, rent it, trade it, do whatever they want. It's theirs, and the tech to deploy it in multiple games. So I think when you start to look at what we've achieved, it maybe becomes a little more easy to understand why somebody like Binance and the Harvest and all of the people who are involved with the Harvest are keen to list their game with us to start, to launch their game. Yeah. We have a referral program built in. As you can see, I got a new referral today. A referral program pays me by simply allowing me to share the platform. And in my profile, I've got rewards. I'm almost at my 2,500 hours of activity here, which is pretty exciting, right? And we've got a built-in support center with all of the questions answered. And if any of the self-service questions aren't answered, I can just go to the help center, send a support ticket, and go and get them answered. And finally, within the settings, right, this allows me to set it up. Do I want things to start automatically or with my permission? How many notifications do I want to achieve, so that the software behaves in a way that I wish it to, okay? So that's it. That's the platform. So we've developed this platform to be able to go and get gamers to download it. We're positioning ourselves very uniquely in this ecosystem because we do have the ability to bring Web 2 numbers and Web 2 games to the Web 3 space because of our unique SDK. That positioning, as far as we know, nobody else out there is positioned accordingly. With our proof of concept for launching a Web 3 game, it means that we literally could become, the gateway from Web 2 to 3, let's call it Web 2.5 and a bit, right? To take people that way using our tech. It's already all developed. So this allows us to create the computational resources to power Gaming Cloud. When I download and install my software, it analyzes what I've got. It analyzes my GPU, CPU, hard space. That data is then sent to our brain, if you will, that's developed by Bookie and the team. And then we know exactly what resources the Gaming Cloud have. So that's the platform. Yeah, that's what we've achieved. That's the supply to satisfy the demand for Gaming Cloud. Now, where does Gaming Gladiators fit into this? Okay, Gaming Gladiators is our flagship. It's no use having the best idea in the world, and it's no use having fantastic tech, and it's no use being positioned the way you are if you don't have the numbers to supply it. There's 1.5 billion Windows PC gamers out there. And our way into that world is to have an esports organization. And I got to say, we struck gold. When we found these guys, the Gaming Gladiator guys, we struck gold. It was very, very timely the way it happened. We've just finished our first year. Calvin was playing the video at the beginning of the year. It could not have gone any better than it did. Having Gaming Gladiators allows us to genuinely have a global brand. We compete against teams and we compete in tournaments where sponsors include Intel and Samsung and Coinbase and BMW, and well, the list goes on, and Red Bull and you know, Monster Drinks, and some of the largest corporations in the world, and gaming.gg appears alongside those brands. So this provides us with a level of credibility and trust and brand building within the esports organization, and because of that, within the gaming world. Okay, this means that when a gamer sees gaming.gg and sees an advert that Andrew will be placing when we start to really go full power into user acquisition, they'll already be familiar with the brand. And let's have a look just whether or not this has been successful, this acquisition. This is a PDF that was just put together, pulling together some of the figures for the other day. Yeah. And in our first year, when you consider, I think it was only like maybe even February, March when we started this year. So it's not even one full calendar year. We've had, we use a company called Shikenzo it's a third-party analytics company. They track all of the data. Some of it's heavily trackable, so you can see all of the data. Some of it, which is China-based, you can't track all of the data. You get an idea of what's happening without the detailed analytics. But altogether, we've got 2 billion trackable impressions, 5 billion non-trackable. That's not because we're guessing. That means we can't go beyond because of China restrictions on what they allow with cookies, okay? We have 3 million hours watched, peak view, as you can see, you know, the logo placements. We've increased our social media following, and the impressions and, you know, engagements and likes have started to happen. And you can see here that the projections for Dota 2 alone, just for the coming year, is 3.5 billion impressions. Yeah. And that's a link to the video you saw earlier. So we have Gaming Gladiators. Yeah. The 3 pieces to the puzzle. Okay. We've got the cloud and we're building it. It's already in place. We can reward the users. We can distribute rendering jobs. We can do blockchain computations. We have conversations started to start to supply AI. We've MOUs in place with the, you know, a reasonable number of significant entities that we can't talk about right now. Yep. So we've got the cloud. Our software allows us to build the computational resources to supply that cloud. We give 90% back to the gamer. Yep. And Gaming Gladiators spearheads our branding, credibility, trust building, and of course, user acquisition. So that's what we've been building. I read a fantastic article recently that talked about a lot that's happening within the crypto industry, and specifically about companies that list their token prior to having value. And I thought it was an interesting article. I'll share it with you. And I must admit, we're not trying to appear clever after the event here. It was circumstances that made this happen, not good planning, right? But the article talked about how many crypto companies with a token, launch their token, raise funds, and then try and build a project that adds value to the token and supports the token price. Okay, that has kind of become the default way that people build within the crypto industry, when of course it should be the other way around. You should build a project, and a project should add value and have a business model and be working, and that is what should supply the value to the crypto token, to the price of the crypto token. We've done it that way. Now, I'd love to say that was because we're super clever. It wasn't. We actually tried to list in 2020 initially. COVID actually put an end to that. We paid for a listing in 2020. The latest situation with listing is, well, just to finish that story, you know, we decided in 2020 to come back and work on the business and go back and revisit listing at a more appropriate time. We did that this year. We had plans to launch twice this year, outline plans. We didn't have a firm date. Both of those times we were advised not to, and both of those times luckily proved timely, because one of those coincided with the UST Luna fiasco, and the second time coincided with FTX and what happened with FTX. So we're at a stage now where pretty much everything that we've been working on is very well advanced. Software is never finished, but it's very, very well advanced. And now the missing piece from all of the mechanics behind our software is to have the token listed. So with that in mind, we have been working very hard, completing due diligence documents for some kind of big names within the industry. There's some, companies that everybody knows that we can't talk about publicly. We have in mind that probably somewhere between the first and second quarter of the year seems to be the most realistic time that we're being told. Anytime there's any news, we will, of course, communicate that. If things change quickly, which they can obviously do within this industry, then we will revisit that. We are in constant communication with some of the major companies who've actually, at an institutional level, purchased tokens from us in pre-launch. We've been well guided so far. Now, I've been in this industry now long enough to know that nobody knows what's going to happen. Okay. Anybody who says they know what's going to happen, right, they're just making an educated guess. But the indications are that, those time periods would seem absolutely the most realistic. So that just kind of brings you up to date on where we are with project development. The three pieces to the puzzle, because just in case anybody didn't see how it all fits together, the cloud services, the software, and Gaming Gladiators. I hope that's kind of helped bring everything together. I know we also got some of the players on the presentation today, and it's also so that you guys know exactly who's behind the name that's on your shirt, right? And you appreciate the enormous benefit to gamers that our platform offers. Okay, I'll stop talking because other people want to say things as well, and I don't want to keep everybody on here all night. So, Clive, I'll hand back to you. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time and attention. We can't wait to get stuck into 2023 and make this like a hugely memorable year. Clive.
Martin, thanks very much. And as Martin said, if you do have any questions, please note them down in the chat, and we'll answer them right at the end. I'm here in Tuscany in Italy. I believe I was cut off, obviously with the fantastic internet connection here. Like the distributed gamers Martin talked about, we're quite distributed ourselves. Martin's over there in Spain. I'm going to hand you over to someone I've known almost 20 years. He's exceptional in his talent in the marketing aspect, which was absolutely ideal and is perfect for us as we move towards the listing itself, and the continual advice and input Andrew has given from his almost 2 decades in advertising over there in Toronto in Canada. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to a firm friend, colleague, and also co-founder, Andrew, over in Canada. You want to take it over?
Thanks, Clive, for that great introduction. Thanks, Martin. Well done, as always. I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time, guys, to first and foremost thank everyone from the advisors that we brought on board, brilliant people giving us amazing advice. All of the token buyers, all the VCs that we've interacted with last year, who've given us monthly, if not daily, advice on what to do next. All the way down to amazing roster of players that we have for Gaming Gladiators and the staff and team that put everything together. So I, for one, want to thank you and congratulate you on this incredible journey we've had thus far. My position in Gaimin is to direct us in the marketing and advertising front, utilizing the last 20 years of understanding of the markets, penetration of the gaming space, and being heavily into the gaming ethos the last 5 years. Advertising my clients, in ESL, enthusiast sports, on all the different channels for gaming itself, has brought a lot of insights as to what we're going to be doing with Gaimin, leveraging the brand equity that Gaming Gladiators has brought us with our incredible 1-year run thus far. When we ended the year 2022 with an incredible win just a few weeks ago, if I'm not correct, a couple of weeks ago. And I think it's going to give us a great foundation to build on for 2023. Not only will we have eyes on target, which is the brand and awareness that Gaming Gladiators brings, but also for the gaming enthusiasts and for that ecosystem to understand that we're not here for a quick buck. Gaimin is here to, make sure that we plant our seeds into the gaming ecosystem, support the gamers, support the tournaments, be sponsors, be owners of that particular teams that provide more value than what's being taken out of that ecosystem. And when we first started this, we heard a lot of companies that are in it to just take out of the gaming ecosystem. We're not of that sort. We're old school, belly to belly business people that, pride ourselves on our ethics in business, making sure that our players are well taken care of, and that we're providing more value to the gaming space than we're taking away. So hence Gaming Gladiators, I myself, I knew about esports, very, very small amount. Then we got, introduced to three wonderful guys from Toronto as well. Nick, Sean, and Alex from OCG. We had a 1 year conversation, went back and forth, and then a huge influence with Joseph Turner, who helped us, spearhead the team and co-founding Gaming Gladiators with the rest of the guys, Nick, Sean, and Alex. And from there, we've started something very unique and different. Unlike other esport organizations where, it's the owners sit in their, wonderful towers and just look down to the players. We're in the trenches with our guys. Our management team, if I'm not correct, I've been on almost every single tournament providing support locally. They are existing and previous in their past life gamers, so they know what gamers want and what players want and need and how to make sure we take care of our guys, because it is our gladiators and there are our warriors, and we want to make sure that we're providing with that backing. So that's provided us a great leverage, and the amount of impression shares, I'm just going to put into perspective so everybody understands what we're talking about. When you see 2 or 3 billion impressions, sometimes you think, well, that's pretty good, that's not bad for an esports team. But coming from the advertising world, the enormous amount of money required to generate those numbers of impressions, traffic and click-throughs and conversions, and those metrics are in the hundreds of potential users and customer acquisition worth millions to us, right? If you were to do a CPM advertising campaign, it cost 1,000 impressions to see how much 5 billion impression gets you, it would cost you between $5 to $10 million to get that. So for us to get that amount of audience and being in the trenches with our guys is a huge leverage for us, and we don't take that lightly. We're really serious about it, and for long-term growth of our marketing strategy, Gaming Gladiators is a huge and a pinnacle point to our success. So just to throw out a couple of numbers to you guys so you understand the scope that we're talking about, and I'm going to intro Joseph to have a couple of things to say about Gaming Gladiators and our vision and what we're about to do in 2023. The amount of audience that we're capturing, the impression shares, and impressions, the number of times our brand is seen. In the internet world, if your brand is seen more than 7 times in the buying journey of a customer, an interaction of sorts will happen, whether it be a direct conversion of a buy or sale of a product, whether it be joining a newsletter, finding out more information about a particular advertiser. We've seen a tremendous increase in the number of active audiences in our pipeline. We had gone from 5 or 10 visitors to our website pre Gaming Gladiators, to over 15,000 visits to our website on a monthly basis. Now, for a startup in the blockchain space, we are a gaming application with our backbone being on the blockchain. It's unheard of. And also to have our whitelist go to 50,000 people from zero advertising dollars. I want to stress this because a lot of times people spend a fortune to do the testing that we've done via our Gaming Gladiators. And then we've taken the leverage of the numbers we've gone from them to give us, 10,000 downloads that we did our alpha and beta testing on. So this has provided us a huge, springboard to launching it in 2023. Well, once we press the go button, then when our advertising dollars are put to good spend, you're going to see a huge influx of not only users on our application, but also on the blockchain side, the crypto side of our token buyers, and how fast we're going to accelerate the momentum on that side for listing and then promotions. And as Martin said before, we are in heavy conversations, guys, with the top brands in that space. We cannot mention because of NDAs who they are. But they're the top dogs, and if I mention to you who they are, you know their brands right away. So to conclude, I wanted to share with you some numbers. We've done a couple of, programs, all organic, not paid. Okay. A couple of videos we've done on social media that have gone minute viral, I would say, 2-3 million views, have garnered us, 15,000 hits to our site, additional 10,000 to 12,000 people joining our waitlist from that particular video. So if you can imagine, once we have full throttle with our ad spends going crazy on social, on search engines, on macro influencers in the gaming space, as you know, some of these guys have over 100 million, followers and people that are, in their particular circle of influence, so to speak. You're going to see tremendous numbers. And our objectives, very simply put, are 10,000 to 50,000, 50,000 to half a mil to a million active users. And that can be achieved in less than a year's time. And then in the gaming space, imagine 1.5 billion PC gamers out there. That's our marketplace. We don't even want to have 1% or 2% of that, because that's incredible numbers. We're talking about 0.0001% of that market share. And that is enough to set Gaimin as a powerhouse in this industry. So for us, excitement is in 2023. We have done all the homework, the groundworks and the foundation is set, guys. Very exciting things to come. As soon as we have it on our plate, via social, via Telegram, via all of our chat groups, we'll be informing all of our communities, the players, all the way through to our advisors, what's happening right away. So you guys are on the up and up. And yes, it's very exciting times in 2023. So I'll wrap up by saying that I want to intro Joseph to give us a quick inside scoop of what we did in 2022 and the exciting year that we have ahead of us in regards to the Gaming Gladiators, where we're looking to do in providing the support and the teams, and how crucial they are into the growth of the gaming itself. So without any further ado, Joseph, the floor is yours, sir.
Thanks, Andrew, and thanks for a wonderful sort of introduction there. To anyone who hasn't seen me before, I'm Joseph, head of esports at Gaimin. You may see me parading around as GG Heckler elsewhere on Twitter or Instagram or Discord. To cover off what a great year we had last year, just very briefly, less than a year ago, we started the Gaming Gladiators brand with the guys from Oceanus Gaming, and we cannot sort of even begin to fathom where we would be without the assistance of Nick, Sean, and Alex. They have been absolutely integral to the building of this brand, the picking up of the teams that we have, and everyone who's been involved in the back room on the Gaming Gladiators side has delivered us an incredible year. In a year where we've seen some of the biggest esports teams start to falter and fall, drop 50% of their staff, tanking in the stock markets, we had one of the best years an esports organization can have. And even more so, we had one of the best debut years an esports organization can have. We attended 2 world championship tournaments in Dota and in Rocket League. We attended and finished 10th at the International, which is just, for a first year, beyond what any of us could have dreamed of. We have the regional championships that the boys won in February. We have the Gamers 8 tournament that Rocket League went to. We attended multiple qualification events for majors in CSGO. We attended majors in Rainbow Six. We were everywhere in the esports industry this year, and it was because of the players, the staff, and everyone in the gaming company that we were able to do all of that. So thank you for all of the support there. In terms of where we're going in 2023, it's going to be an extremely fast-paced and extremely bright future for Gladiators. So we're now moving and pivoting into doing content as one of our primary functions. Everybody is well aware that the sort of esports industry is tied very closely to the content creation industry. As Andrew mentioned, the gaming world has people with hundreds of millions of subscribers and billions of views on a daily basis. And we're going to be tapping heavily into that functionality by developing lots and lots of long and short form content for everyone to consume and enjoy, which will always be pushing the Gaimin.gg application so that people can get even further content via the application itself. We also intend on expanding in the teams that we're working on. So right now we have some things that we can't talk about going on in the background, but by the end of this month, we may have a very big announcement on further games that we're moving into. One of them being one of the biggest titles globally, and one of the most well-known teams globally that will be taking over. We intend on continuing to develop all of the teams that we currently have under our rosters. We intend on providing them with further support. We have now got Reshi D, who is doing all of our personal training. We have psychologists, performance coaches, and various other people who we can call on to make sure that we have the best team going forward. We intend on developing further relationships with brands and sponsors to ensure that we can keep getting the development and growth that we want. As you've seen this year, we've gone from just having gaming on our jerseys to now having a series of other companies who have joined us on this journey. And those brands will continue through in 2023, and we'll be adding more of them. And we have some exciting phone calls coming up in the near future to further promote the team. We then have our intentions on the actual games themselves. And one of the games that was mentioned briefly was the Harvest game. And this sort of pivots towards the Web3 world that we're looking at as well. There's a lot of companies currently looking into the Web3 esports ecosystem, which doesn't really exist at the moment. So we want to make sure that we're one of the companies that is first through the door to make sure that happens. The adoption of the Harvest game, which is the title that was seen on the Gaimin platform, is going to be one of the first adoptions that we do. We have already proceeded to the signing of a roster for that game, and we will be heading heavily into the Web3 esports industry as it continues to develop. We will continue also to look into the Web2 gaming world, which is where we currently sit and where our traction is. And any new games that hit the market will be the first to assess. And we have also started to assess the mobile gaming market based on the massive traction that is available within that industry. That's a very brief wrap up of the sort of expectation for 2023. We intend on doubling pretty much every metric that we put down last year, and we intend on making sure that this year we do even better in all of the games that we do situate ourselves in. And hopefully in 10 months' time, you'll see a lovely post that says we've won the international right after winning the Rocket League World Championships. So we can always hope.
Thanks, Joseph. Just one more thing before I pass it to Clive to finish up, guys, and get any questions answered. Because of the Harvest, selecting us, Gaimin.gg, as our first Web3 kind of launch, we are having an AMA with Binance chain. As soon as we get the exact link on the promotion side of things with Twitter, I'll pass it along. But do come, it'll be myself and Joseph on that AMA. For the Harvest, Gaimin Gladiators, and BNB chain, and how all that it goes together, and how fruitful it will be for all parties. And also participate. I would love for you guys to come and join and spread the word and help us promote that event. So I'll pass it on to Clive. Any questions or to conclude the meeting?
Thanks very much, Andrew. Thank you very much, Joseph. Do follow us on all the social media feeds. The Discord channels, the Facebook, the Instagram, and on obviously the gaming side of things. I do the walk and talks, which I put out there. Many of you may have seen me and the dogs I take for a walk. If you want any information or any further information on any of the channels, feel free to contact any of the team. So many people on the call. It's absolutely fantastic to see so many of you joining us this evening. And for those of you also who are listening into the recording, thanks very much, as Martin said earlier, for your support. We've had questions that we've answered privately in the chat. No questions really for the team. So Calvin's been urging me to keep this short, keep this sweet, and end. So thanks very much for joining us. Wishing you a fantastic 2023, as Martin has said, and see you all again soon. Bye-bye for now, and good night.